All right, that's fine. Well, look at everybody get in here.
Andrew, you're still with us.
Yeah,
You
you-
can sneak off.
Come on.
Don't get off that easy.
That's right.
That's where he got his tan from. Yeah. He doesn't look like he's working anywhere.
All right, well, we should get started. Thank you, everybody, for being here this afternoon. My name's Craig Foley. I'm the Director of Public Affairs at the Detroit Landbank Authority. And this is actually a very exciting day for the Landbank and really for the city of Detroit as a whole as we get ready to unveil a really important product, mortgage product for the city of Detroit, a very unique product, unique to the city of Detroit that we have been working on for a very, very long time. I'm not going to take up much of your time. I'm going to turn things over right now to Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan.
All right. Well, another a good day. As everybody here knows, we started down this road of this auction site. We didn't know what was going to happen when we took the vacant houses in Detroit and started to sell them. We ran into a problem that I hadn't anticipated, which is the single biggest obstacle to the auction succeeding has been the inability of people in Detroit to get mortgage. Last year, 4,000 people in this city bought a single-family home. Only 400 were able to get a mortgage. 90% of the houses sold in the city, the buyer had to pay cash. And so we have been forcing people to pay $800 a month in rent for a house that they could have bought and paid $400 a month for a mortgage if they'd been able to get it. And so we've gone at this a number of different ways, and today is another significant step in that direction. And I want to thank Catherine Bassant and Andrew Plepler from Bank of America and the president in Michigan, Matt Elliott, for coming together to create a funding source and doing it through Bruce Marks and NACA. And basically what's going to happen is this. Bruce will talk about the details of this program, but NACA is well known nationally. It's partnered with a number of banks, and they offer mortgages at a 0% closing cost, 0% fee type of arrangement, and they typically go up to 110% loan to value. And that has been the problem in this city. The appraisals have not been realistic. The appraisals look back 2 or 3 years. The suburban property values have come up much faster than the Detroit property values, and so we've got people in neighborhoods like East English Village who can't get a mortgage for a $60,000 house in a house that sold for $150,000 in 2008. And so that's been the problem. And we're so pleased that at least for the Landbank houses, both Bank of America and NACA have agreed that they will make loans up to 150% of the value. And the reason for this is these neighborhoods are coming back quickly. We're dealing with all the abandoned houses at once. And now for the first time, we're going to be able to solve the appraisal process. If you've been following the last couple weeks, the auction's been doing extremely well. We sold 2 houses yesterday, one for $33,000, one for $17,000. 2 houses sold for $50,000. That's a high day for us. The average house has been selling for about $10,000. But I've been anxious to go to 3 houses a day, and now we're going to do it. So May 1st, we're taking the auction from 2 houses a day to 3 houses a day. And we sell 7 days a week, so it'll be 1,000 houses a year that otherwise would have gone vacant and ultimately been demolished, that we're going to be putting in the hands of families who want to be there. And assuming my friend Bruce can process the mortgages, as he says, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year we're going to 4 houses a day because we have a huge number of beautiful brick buildings in this city that are vacant, and we got a lot of people who would like to move into the city. So we think today we've solved a very significant problem. Pastor Stevens is here. He's going to talk to you, but for people who are interested in doing this, if you're going to buy through the Landbank, we're urging you to get pre-qualified at NACA on Saturday the 25th at Pastor Stevens Church on Grand River. He's going to have a large workshop. They're going to have an office there temporarily, and whatever point NACA's ready to announce their permanent office, I'll let I'll let Bruce do that at the appropriate time. But what we want you to do, if you want to buy a house on the land bank and you want to use a NACA loan, go in, get pre-qualified so you know ahead of time how much you're qualified to bid on. And now we're going to finally open up mortgages to a much larger pool of homeowners in the city of Detroit. It's a very exciting day. And with that, I'll turn it back to Craig.
All right, and of course, Mayor Duggan mentioned Bruce Marks, who is the founder and CEO of NACA, who is here with us right now. I'm going to let him come up and talk a little bit about how this program works. Bruce.
It is great to be here in Detroit, Mayor Duggan. We're going to make Detroit the model for restabilizing neighborhoods. So let's get into the particulars a little bit. This mortgage is available to anybody who wants to purchase a home. And here's the terms that everybody gets. No down payment, 0 down payment. No closing costs, 0 closing costs. No fees, 0 fees. Always at a fixed rate below market. So today's rate on a 30-year mortgage, 3.5%. Today's rate on a 15-year mortgage is 2.75%. And you can buy it down to virtually 0%. And you can do a purchase and a rehab. So let's go through the numbers. Let's say through the land bank, which is very feasible, you can purchase a house for $5,000. Let's say you need $55,000 to renovate the house. So you have a mortgage for $60,000. But the appraised value, even when it's complete, is $40,000. Wouldn't get done before today. Because now with that homeowner is going to have a mortgage payment of $397 a month for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That's half what they would be paying in rent. So this is the most conservative mortgage product and program in the country. Because where else can you have a fully renovated house paying less than $400? It doesn't happen, except it's going to happen for many, many Detroit homeowners here. We've had that track record. So before I say anything else, this is one of those things that may sound too good to be true, but it is the reality because we have a track record of getting this done in 40 different cities across the country. So before I go on and I end, if I can introduce Phyllis Stevens, who has gone through the program, and she can just tell you something very quick about it.
I just want to encourage everyone that has the opportunity to take advantage of the program with no closing costs and no down payment, and you can really buy your interest rate down. I was able to buy my interest rate down to 0.062%, and that's really unheard of. So I just really want to encourage everyone to take advantage of the program.
But I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about a bank. So we have been doing this with Bank of America and others, Citi and others, but we've been doing this with Bank of America. And we have a commitment from Bank of America for $10 billion. And we started this back in 1995, 20 years ago, on that. And so the banks, you know, everybody thinks that, well, the bank, you know, the issues with the banks. Certainly there are, but, you know, there are people at these banks who do the impossible. There are people out there who really get it done. We wouldn't be here, and NACA wouldn't have this program if it was not for a person in this room, Kathy Besant, because her 20 years ago with Hugh McCall sat down with us. And the first conversation that I had with Hugh McCall, with Kathy, saying that all banks are evil. I said that to Hugh McCall, and he says back, well, all you nonprofits want is a handout. But he said, if you're true to your word and you do this better than anybody else, I'll be your biggest partner. He committed $500 million, then $3 billion, then $10 billion. And if it wasn't for Kathy Besant it would never have happened. And that's the face of what gets done in this country in a real way for real lending, a person with that passion. And I just want to say thank you, Kathy. Finally, the last steps. The first step, anybody who's a home buyer, who wants to be a home buyer needs to come to the workshop on the 25th. Be there at 9:30 in the morning. Pastor Stevens will go through where church is, how to get there, and all that. And we make a commitment. If you want to be a homeowner, we'll guarantee if you stick with this program, it will happen. Because we don't look at your credit scores, we look at your individual circumstances. So for some people, it will happen right away. For others, it might take a little bit of time. But if you're determined to become a homeowner, we will make sure that that piece happens. This product is that good. This partnership with Bank of America is that good. And this relationship with the city of Detroit is that good. And we're going to put city of Detroit up there, as with the mayor has done a great job, say this is how you stabilize neighborhoods to make it a positive model for the rest of the country. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Right now, I would like to bring up Matt Elliott, who is the Michigan Market President for Bank of America. Nice to see you a second time in, what, 2 weeks, I believe, with a big announcement for Bank of America. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Craig. And Bruce, thank you very much for those kind words. We really appreciate it. As Craig mentioned, my name is Matt Elliott. I'm the Michigan Market President for Bank of America. And on behalf of not only Kathy Besant, who, in addition to being, I think, the godmother of the program for at least our relationship with NACA. I've learned a couple things about corporate America. In addition, Andrew Plepler, who's our global corporate social responsibility executive, they've both been instrumental in helping us, deliver. What we talk a lot about is taking our global resources and delivering locally, and this is a great example of that. And they've been instrumental in that. So, with them and my 2,000 teammates here in the state of Michigan, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to partner with NACA on this program, and also the Opportunity Resource Fund, who will be a key part of this whole thing. From our point of view, this program is very important because it helps Detroit's neighborhoods. And we all know that we can't have a sustainable Detroit, we can't have a sustainable Renaissance without strong neighborhoods. And so from our point of view, this is a key element in that revitalization. And for us, it's a part of a series, as Craig was alluding to, of affordable housing investments that we've made over the last really few weeks and also a few years. We do this really for three reasons. The first is that programs like this align with our mission, which is to improve the financial lives of our customers, our clients, and our communities. And community really matters to us because people like me and like Kathy, we're Michiganders and Detroiters in addition to being Bank of America and Merrill Lynch and U.S. Trust employees. So for us, this is home, and we care about what happens to home. And then lastly, from a business point of view, we know that our success is shared with that of the communities that we serve. We can only be as successful as Detroit is successful. We've been serving this community for 100 years, and our goal actually is to make the next 100 the best 100. And so investments like this actually make good business sense too. So affordable housing, as I mentioned earlier, is part of a broader community investment for us that really includes economic development, workforce development, and responding to critical needs. And we've been doing that throughout the city for several years, including our Project 14 program, which put we donated and renovated homes that we could donate to first responders so they could move back into the city and live in the community that they serve. We have an ongoing home donation program through which we've donated 940 homes throughout Michigan, over 370 in the city of Detroit. And also, importantly, 100 of those have gone to military families. And as Craig alluded to recently, just weeks ago, I had the pleasure of standing next to the mayor and also to one of our community partners, LISC, to announce the 0% home rehabilitation program, which allows homeowners to borrow at 0% interest to rehabilitate their homes for people who live and own their properties here in the city. So, in summary, we're supporting this program and others because we believe Detroit's best days are still ahead of it, and we want to be a part of that renaissance. And so for that, Matt, for those reasons, we appreciate and applaud the mayor for his leadership. Bruce, thank you very much for taking your program here. We think it's going to do great things, and we appreciate always the opportunity to partner with the Opportunity Resource Fund. Thank you very much.
Now, with that, he just mentioned the Opportunity Resource Fund. I would like to welcome Christy Narayanan. Come on up, Christy.
Thank you.
CEO, by the way, of the Opportunity Resource Fund.
Thank you. Opportunity Resource Fund is a 30-year-old nonprofit community development financial institution, and we have believed in Detroit for more than 30 years. I am so thrilled, actually beyond thrilled, and I know our board chair, Bob Hunt, Bob is thrilled as well, to have the partnership that's going to make this happen. Public-private partnerships are how we get things done. Detroit neighborhoods will come back. I have more faith and more belief in that now than in my 25 years with the organization, thanks to Mayor Duggan. It's wonderful what's happening. Thank you so much, Bruce, for bringing the program here, to Matt from Bank of America. This is just amazing, and we're thrilled to be part of it. Our portion will be the second mortgage, the piece that takes it to 150% of loan to value. As a nonprofit, we can take that risk because we believe everyone will pay the money back. We believe the value will be redistributed. It will show up again in those neighborhoods, and we're just absolutely thrilled to be a part of that. Thank you.
And now I would actually like to welcome to the stage Dr. Samuel Stevens, who is the pastor at Pure Word Missionary Baptist Church. Of course, Pure Word is actually going to be hosting the offices of NACA temporarily until they move into their permanent space. It's also part of the faith-based community, which is going to be really, really important when it comes to getting the word out and spreading the word about these mortgages to people around the community. So, Dr. Stevens, please.
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to Mayor Mike Duggan for just doing an excellent job and garnering together the resources to make this possible. This is a great day for the city of Detroit and for all of southeastern Michigan, because now we have a vehicle where people that are living in the neighborhoods can continue to stay in the neighborhoods and be able to stabilize, and families can purchase homes. You know, one of the problems that we were facing in revitalizing the neighborhoods and stabilizing them is that a lot of the people living in the neighborhoods did not have the credit, did not have money to put down on the mortgage. They were hit hard by the economic crisis, just like all of the businesses and the institutions. And so then when I heard about NACA about 2 or 3 years ago, I said, this is impossible. This is crazy. There's no way that you can do a mortgage with no money down, no closing costs, no points, and I don't have to have good credit in order to get the mortgage. I said, prove it to me. Show me that you can do this. I got 2 daughters that need to buy a house. If you can get them houses, then I'll become an evangelist for you. I'll help you get it out to the community and move your program forward. And I have 2 daughters who purchase homes through NACA. So I'm a man of my word, so I had to keep my word. I went and found Dr. Holly. I said, Dr. Holly, this is a great program. We got to bring this to the city. And we started talking to Erica at the Landbank, and Erica shared with us and said, well, you know, one of the problems is that houses are not appraising at the appraisal cost. You can do a deal on a house. You can find a house that somebody wants to sell for $100,000. They can qualify for $100,000, but the appraisal is only coming in at $70,000, $80,000, and they're short. We need to be able to do mortgages at $150,000. And because of people who dreamed and said nothing's impossible, we placed the problem in Bruce's lap and began to push on him, and he worked together with Bank of America, and so here we are today. So I am excited to be able to see this come to fruition, that now we're going to be able to help people in the neighborhoods and people who are hurting the most, people who normally would not be able to qualify for a mortgage through the traditional means are now going to be able to buy houses. And when they buy those houses, they're going to stabilize the community, and not only is it going to lift up the city of Detroit, it's going to help all of southeastern Michigan. We're going to have a workshop at Pure Word on the corner of Evergreen and Grand River. The address is 20011 Grand River. It's going to be on Saturday the 25th. The workshop will start at 9:30. All you need to do is show up at the workshop. And the best way to make sure that you get a seat and that you're able to get in is to go to NACA's website, www.naca.com, and just register for the workshop. If you come to the workshop and you go through the workshop, that's the first step in the process. Then you'll be assigned a counselor, and they'll help you through the process. They'll guide you through with everything that you need to do to be on your path to being a homeowner. Thank you.
And I do believe we have a little time for questions, if anybody has any. So, with that, who's got the first question? Yes, sir.
Bruce, what would be the eligibility standards? I mean, obviously, you've knocked out many of the ones that act as roadblocks. So what are your standards for eligibility?
Really, everybody is eligible, as long as you don't own another property by the time you close on this mortgage, and you purchase within the maximum purchase price, which is $200,000. Everybody's eligible. And so we expect, because as you heard from Mayor Duggan, there were 400 mortgages that were done last year in the city of Detroit. We expect that with this product that we're going to be doing 500 to 1,000.
And is there a cap? Do you have, how big is your pool?
$13 billion
Detroit alone.
in the country. In the country, and we're talking about doing even more for the city of Detroit on that. So it's there. So we expect at the Pure Word Baptist Church that we will, that on the 25th, we want to have thousands of people there. We want to have thousands of people there to take the first step, and that's going to be a workshop. That's just not to register, that's to have a workshop, and we have the capacity to work with everybody one-on-one to make sure that they're qualified for a mortgage in the city of Detroit to purchase a home. Because as opposed to being in Boston where you don't have really affordable housing, or in New York City where we are, or in Los Angeles, around the country, this is an unbelievable opportunity for people to stabilize their neighborhoods. Also, one more thing, we don't look at people's credit score. We never look at their credit score. What do we look at? We want to see what their individual circumstances are and that they made their payments on time that they control over the last 12 months. So for example, if someone has an unaffordable medical bill, that's not a negative reflection on their ability to be a homeowner. That just says that we have lousy health care in this country and unaffordable. And that shouldn't stop them from being a homeowner. And that's how we look at it. So it's really called character-based lending, when you look at people's individual circumstances of their payment history over the last 12 to 24 months.
But you said they can't be a homeowner at this time? When you say that, like,
Sure.
They can't own a home and then looking for a new mortgage?
Right. No, what I'm saying is if they're a new home buyer, or if they have been a homeowner, or if they're a homeowner but they're going to sell their other home before they close. Because one of the requirements of the program is really crucial, is that we are a neighborhood stabilization organization. So owner-occupants stabilize neighborhoods. So we want to make sure that that person who gets a NACA Bank of America mortgage, that they're going to live in that property. They can sell it at any time. They can refinance at any time. They can buy other properties at any time, but they have to live in that property for as long as they have the NACA Bank of America mortgage on that.
What's the default rate on your loans?
It's one of the lowest in the country. I think it's 0.0057. It's very, very low, because we have an extensive post-purchase program. So if they get a NACA mortgage, but things happen, and they can't make the mortgage payments, we not only provide them with counseling, but also with financial assistance so that they can get back on their feet. That's why the foreclosure loss is so low in this program.
Some folks may look at this, and given our recent experience with the mortgage meltdown, look at this and say, okay, a total mortgage of $60,000 on a home with the assessed value of $40,000. By definition, that borrower is upside down. So is that prudent, and are we setting some people up for failure?
No, because what it is that when you look at it, you have a payment that's affordable, but because you have a fixed rate mortgage, either 15 or 30 years, you stay in that house for a period of time, you will buy down, you will gain equity, even if property values don't go up, which we expect that they will. So that's why you have a fixed rate, fully amortizing mortgage to go through that, and you're not paying rent. So you're gaining equity over time. So that's why it's so important, because this is conservative, because the payments are so affordable out there. But we want people to know, and we're going to educate the home buyers that yes, you're buying a property that at this point is with what the appraiser says. But over time, we expect through the work of Mayor Duggan and the city of Detroit, those values will be going
You're
up.
making a bet to some extent.
So again, let me answer that. The example you used happens in this city every single day. That a homeowner agrees to sell and a buyer agrees to buy at a fair price, and the appraiser, who comes in and looks backwards 3 years, appraises it below that. And so when you say that person is underwater on their mortgage because it's $60,000 and it appraises at $40,000, that's true from that standpoint. But in that neighborhood, that individual is very likely paying $800 a month in rent for that same house. And so instead, they can pay a $400 mortgage and own the house. Now, if they have a heart attack in the next 3 months, are they upside down? Yes, but the vast majority of people are going to end up far better off. And when President Obama was here visiting the Wayne Assembly Plant, I sat down with him afterwards, and I showed him 2 houses. One in Green Acres, 2 blocks south of 8 Mile. Beautiful 3-bedroom brick house sold for $35,000, could not get a mortgage. And I showed him a little wood frame house in Ferndale, 2 blocks north of 8 Mile, half the size. It got a mortgage for $200,000. And that's what's happening in this country because one looked backwards at the appraisal and said it wasn't worth it. But the fact is, the great majority of people would rather buy that nice brick house and bet on the upside as opposed to the smaller wood frame house. That's what's been holding our auction program back, and assuming Bruce executes the level he thinks. If he does 400 or 500 mortgages over the next year, it'll dramatically change the face of the city because now we've got somebody in the neighborhoods, and I think you need to make a decision on which neighborhood that you're in. But the beauty of what he's doing is he's basing your mortgage on your income and your ability to pay, not on the appraisal look back. And that's what we've been waiting for, and it has an opportunity to fix it.
And you're still contending that the appraisals are coming in artificially low because of what happened during the recession?
There's no doubt about it, and it's a slow process. As I said to the president, we're going to need this for about 4 or 5 years because if you look in the suburbs, the suburban property values are almost to 2008 levels. Detroit property values are half of 2008 levels, which means if you get a promotion and you want to buy a house, you can't buy that house in Detroit because you can't get a mortgage. We're forcing you to move to the suburbs. And that's what is so critical about this is I want people, as prosperity continues to grow for our residents, to be able to be in the city of Detroit. But we just had one on Grayton in East English Village. We sold it in the auction for $10,000 last summer. The owner put $35,000 into it. They just sold it for $88,000. They've established a new high water mark in East English Village. Somebody managed to be able to afford, I assume it was a cash deal, at $88,000. That house sold for $150,000 in 2007. But we'll push it up into the 90s, and eventually it'll start to catch back up. And what this program, the Bank of America and NAC are allowing us to do is get the mortgages so that we can get the appraisals up to where they ought to be over time.
Is it only for the auction
So,
houses?
so Bruce says he's going to offer it to everybody.
Okay.
And so, and he'll pitch it to everybody, and that's fine with me. As far as I'm concerned, go ahead. What they will do is they'll go up to 110% of value for everybody else.
Okay.
On the land bank, they'll go to 150% of value. And so in my mind, you got a lot of different banks doing a lot of different things. The real difference to me is in the land bank. And this is the key. If you want to buy through the land bank, you need to go to NACA, get pre-qualified. They'll tell you how much, based on your income, that you can borrow. And then you know as the auctions come along, what you're able to do.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, that's my question. So one of the problems the land bank auctions have had to date is if you get pre-qualified and you say you're qualified to take out a $100,000 loan, you don't know what the renovation costs are in each of these properties because the land bank doesn't give that information when you're bidding. So people could is that going to change? Are we going to fix that? So people know what they're getting into before they actually start bidding instead of having to walk away and lose the money?
The land bank is never going to tell you
But how do you pre-qual people then?
What the estimates are, what kind of tile do you want, what kind of windows do you want. So
but how do you pre-qual people if they don't know what the value, what the rehab costs are?
So they're going to go through a credit counseling program, and I think they can give you a pretty good idea, but you you got to do certain safety things for your house. You got to secure the roof, you got to make sure the furnace is there, etc. And then what you do for the finishes in the interior
But that's not my question.
is up to you.
We don't know, when
ahead,
people
Bruce.
are bidding, they
Go ahead.
don't know
Can-
what
can-
rehab has to happen, so it's an unknown.
Well, it's not, because what's gonna happen is this. You're gonna be qualified for a certain amount. So let's say you are qualified for $60,000. You're probably, or more. Then you're going to be able to go to those properties through that the land bank has. You're gonna get a contractor or an expert to be able to do an evaluation of what is necessary to deal with the required repairs, and if there's any extra money, you can do your wish list items. Because you're exactly right. As part of the program that we're working out with the land bank, you've got to be able to go into that property, get experts to say how much it's going to cost to do the renovation. So when you close, those monies in the rehab amount will be in an escrow account, and they'll be paid out. But we are working with the land bank to make sure that people will know exactly what has to be done to do that.
Right now,
Sure.
it's the one time when you can go in and view it during the open house, and if you're lucky enough to have a contractor to bring along and they can give you an estimate, that's great. But if not, we know that significant numbers of people are walking away from closing because they can't afford the rehabs and they lose their 10% down. So we're taking 10% down from people for mortgages they can't, not because they just can't get the mortgage, but the rehab costs are higher than expected.
I hear exactly what you're saying.
I want this solved, so it's
Yeah,
not a.
yeah, yes.
It's
So-
not,
so-
you know what, Bruce, you're probably not up on the details of our program.
But
The
we're going to
answer-
work with the land bank to
The
work that piece out.
answer is that we are seeing very few now that are not closing. People are getting
Bruce, I
sophisticated.
want to ask you one question.
Amy, let me just,
I
let me
want to
just,
ask Bruce one
okay,
question.
one second. Let me just answer Amy's question real quick. I mean, in terms of the information that we provide buyers who are going to the auction site, we do have the pre-sale inspection report that is available on every single property that's there. We have always encouraged buyers to download that report. Take it with them, bring somebody with you that knows this stuff so you can have a good sense. And the one thing that we have seen recently is very, very responsible bidding on the part of people who are going through the auction process. So they know that there's going to be an X amount of rehab that's needed, and the bids have been responsible, taking into account what they're going to need total. So we have made some steps and some strides
It's just the
in fixing
pre-qual
that.
part that's changing, so wanting to understand how people will understand how they get pre-qualified and how much they're
But
gonna
they'll be
need for a
pre-qualified
property.
for a certain amount. They'll know that they can't go over that
Right,
amount.
but you
So
don't
I
know
think
what
that's the key.
house takes to rehab.
But you can have a pretty good idea if you take a look at the report that's out there.
Amy is feeling just like everybody else, but if you bring some of those people that you say you've done already, like you have people standing around in here, but you have some people, because you said you've been doing it over a year. There's some people somewhere that would answer this better than you, because you've done it for them already. So simply put them in a room and have them say, this is what's already done, and it can't be denied. Is that possible?
So one thing, we want to, answer any other questions on that, but let me say this. We're going to make sure that this is a streamlined process, because Mayor Duggan has been clear, it's no point to put a lot of properties out there if working people do not have the funds to purchase that, and only investors. And it's not as evil as investors, you want to broaden that out, right? So clearly, we're going to work with the city of Detroit to make sure that's a streamlined process and people can do the repairs, because that's crucial to get that piece done. It's crucial to hire contractors who live in the city of Detroit. It's crucial to have appraisers who know the neighborhoods in the city of Detroit. It's crucial to have all those players who are based here, who are really, so this is not just a housing program, this is an economic revitalization program so people can get jobs to do that. And yes, equity goes up and down, but repayments stay the same. Last thing that I just want to say, if I could, this is historic. This has never happened before. And that's why we're thrilled to be here, because it's in the history of mortgage lending, this has never been done. And I want to thank the partners and everybody
Wait a
here.
minute, at this level of 150%?
Yes.
Is there a time frame for the program, or is this for all eternity?
No, this goes starting now. You come to the workshop on the 25th at the Pure
There's no
Word
end
Mission
date.
Baptist Church. It's going, it's starting.
All right.
And there is an ending to this press conference, so thanks everybody for being here. We
Bruce will
appreciate it.
stay and answer any question you want for as long as you want to talk to him.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you, everybody.